All right, you guys, let's take a look at flat art copy today. So I've got this painting here that a painter has asked me to photograph, and we're gonna take a look at a couple of different ways of doing that. Now you could get into the studio and use studio lighting, nice even studio lighting, great. We're gonna be working a little bit quicker here. Efficiency, right? If I can photograph something a little bit faster and get the same results as going into the studio, all the better. I'm in a classroom here, I'm in a big art room, and I've got two sources of light here in the classroom. Behind me, these really big bay windows, and then also above me, fairly consistent, although they're off right now, fairly consistent fluorescent lighting. So this is just a strip of fluorescent lighting. Let's go ahead and turn that fluorescent light on. We're gonna photograph with both of these. We're gonna try one image where just the fluorescent lights are on, and we'll close the shades, and we'll try a photograph that has the fluorescent lights off and is lit by the bay windows. If we had both of those things, if we put the lights on and the windows together, that's where we run into problems. In fact, I think you can even see it on the video right here. I've got this sort of cooler rim lighting happening on the side of my face, and then a warmer light happening here. Everything in the classroom is sort of this slight warm color also. That's not necessarily a problem. Using the color checker chart, making a custom profile for the camera, and then using a custom white balance for the picture that we take should take care of that. This particular image too has this sort of absolute white. So I've talked to the painter, and this is just a gesso base. There's actually no color in between the green. And so we can also use that to make sure that we get accurate color representation. So we're gonna photograph this painting twice. I'm gonna put it right on the floor and then shoot from above with the fluorescent lights. I'm gonna close the shades behind me. I'm gonna move it kind of as far away from the windows as possible so that even with the shades, there's no color influence happening, or we don't want any color influence happening at all. Ideally, what we would do if we were gonna shoot with the fluorescent lights and we wanted perfect color, we would actually wait until the evening, right? We would shoot when there's absolutely no light coming in from that window at all. It's only the fluorescent lights. And then we'll go ahead and turn the lights off, and we'll try the same thing. We need to make a custom color profile for the window light and do the custom white balance off of the color checker chart. When we set up the color checker chart, we're gonna set it up and we're gonna photograph the color checker chart, not necessarily in the frame with the painting, that's actually not super critical, but just in the same exact place and under the same exact lighting conditions. And then we can just use that file and reference that when we go ahead and do our edit on the painting. One last note, when you're setting up for a shot like this, you wanna have the painting be totally square, right? This canvas here is totally square to start with, and we want it to be totally square when we finish. And so when we're photographing, if it's slightly up or slightly down, if the camera's tilted at all, if it's not perfectly parallel to the plane of the painting, you're gonna have some issues there. Now the great news is Photoshop has some ways to account for slight variations and skew, actually really dramatic variations. It can really straighten things out. And we'll look at those, but just when you're photographing something like this, it's important to note you want it to be as parallel as possible to the plane of the painting. Say that 10 times fast. So let's get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the window light. I'm gonna turn the fluorescent lights off, and we're gonna photograph this painting here with the window lights, and then we'll turn the fluorescent lights back on and close the shades, and we'll try again.